Hello everybody, this is Brian David Marshall coming to you from the Pro Tour set at Magic Weekend Nagoya. I'm here with a familiar face for a lot of you Deck Tech fans, Marijn Lybaert. Found some time off from work.
Yep.
And he's here in Nagoya.
Yep.
Coming into this block constructed format, a lot of people were predicting a very heavy presence from mono-white decks. But when they were talking about mono-white, they're really talking about aggro decks. You've taken a different route here. You're playing like a 32 mana source mono-white control deck.
Yep.
Tell us about this deck.
Well, it's like it can attack. It's got Blade Splicer and it's got the Hero of Bladehold, but it's like it plays a long game. You've got 32 mana sources, high casting cost cards, Wrath of Gods. You got control cards.
So you're playing 2 Sunblast Angels and a Phyrexian Rebirth.
Yep.
Why the Phyrexian Rebirth and not a third Sunblast Angel? I just heard you talking about this. Martin Juice is like, why not more Sunblast Angel?
Because we wanted an answer to the Sphinx, because Sphinx is a really big problem for our deck.
So no one's going to attack with their Consecrated Sphinx.
No.
They know better, especially if you're playing a white control deck. You can't tease them and taunt them and make them. You can't like Red Rover, send Consecrated Sphinx over, anything like that. So that lets you do that. You also have
Yep, it's a
2 Exclusion Rituals.
It's a definite answer to the Sphinx. Like, play it, it's never coming back. I actually had people trying to destroy the enchantment, thinking their Sphinx would come back, but it's not coming back.
This
it's
is not
imprinted.
Oblivion Ring. It's gone forever.
Actually, someone beast within it, so I got a 3/3 for nothing.
But once this is gone, they can play the card under it again. So some more biggies. We got a quad of Planeswalkers, 2 Karn and 2 Elspeth.
Yep. The point about the Planeswalkers, like they're high ends, and all of them destroy the Sphinx too. Well, this one you need to get up, but that's usually the first thing you do against control, and Karn is just sick. And the good thing is we play some creatures too. We play Hero of Bladehold, and we also play the Blade Splicer. So our Planeswalkers are easily defended.
Right. I was talking to a red player earlier today, and he has Kuldotha Rebirth for all his Wellsprings, but he wasn't playing it like an aggro deck. He was just using it as a control deck, and the 3 tokens would protect his Koth.
Yep.
And so this is the same thing here with the Blade Splicer, where you're getting 2 guys, and they can't just kill a guy and then swing over and kill your Planeswalker.
And also, like, the hero, it wins games on himself. Like, turn 3 it, play the Bladehold, and you just win. I also had a funny game against Paul, where I played turn 3 Blade Splicer, turn 4 Hero, and then he thought I was playing mono-white beatdown, so he cyber Marrow Shards and all the control cards, and then I just beat him with Karn, Elspeth.
You've got Karn and Elspeth in play, he's holding Marrow Shards?
Yeah, that's what happened.
This is an interesting card, I think, that maybe people weren't thinking about very much when they were looking at the format, the White Sun Zenith.
Yeah, it's like, you play 32 land sources, so you need something that goes big when you have a lot of lands, and this is very good.
So, we talked about a lot of these cards being good against control. I'm assuming that the Leonin Relic-Warders are there for your Tempered Steel matchup, and so they're a cheap body that can.
Yep, and they also defend the Planeswalkers. It's another thing to have. Right. Good thing.
Now a lot of the early Magic Online Sunblast Angel decks we saw were like blue-white.
Yep.
But you said that the Leonin Relic-Warder is a big reason why you haven't played blue.
Yeah, and we have like already 5-6 drops, so if we add Sphinx we have like 9, and that was a bit too much, so that's why we played mono-white. The mana is better, you can play Relic-Warder, you can play Inkmoth Nexus, which plays a role also.
Right. So then you have Divine Offering, which is sort of a nice catch-all and really good against the aggro decks. I guess this is for Hero of Bladehold.
Yep, and it's like, this deck has a lot of life gain actually when you look at it. It's got Divine Offering, it's got Elspeth Tirel, and it's got the Talisman too.
Well, this is a card that was definitely, I was wondering if people were going to play.
Yep.
This is an all-star in draft, but.
Yep. I started with a red-green deck, and we were like, man, this is like a ramp deck without ramp spells. And then wait a second, we can play the Talisman. And then we moved to mono-white, and it immediately was there 4 times.
And has the life gain from the Pristine Talisman actually been relevant in the matches you played?
It always matters. Like against mono-red, if you're at 7 or at 3, it matters a lot. Like only Red Sun Zenith kills you, whereas when you're at 7, when you're at 3, they have so much more that kills you.
Right. So, and then the mana source is rounded out with 3 of the Sphere of the Suns. So you have, what, 21 planes?
Yep.
So thump those down right in the middle, and then 4 Inkmoth Nexus. Killing people with poison?
Never, like one game maybe in testing, but they're there to block. They kill their Nexuses, which is a problem for mono white. They block the signal pests. They can't attack anymore if you have that. So it's very good.
So it's essentially a quicksand for you.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about your tokens. I really like these, but I want to ask you a question. Got a white cat token.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Looks something like a cat. Now, did you draw these yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. We've got the horror token artifact for your Phyrexian Rebirth. That's very scary. It appears to have a headache. But I want to know why your white token soldier is fighting a tree.
Yeah, fighting Mother Nature. You never know what comes up these days.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about sideboard. So you have Marrow Shards. I assume you're bringing in for
White
Weenie, Tempered Steel, Revoke Existence.
White Weenie, and against Violation Range and the Conscience.
So you could bring them in against the control decks.
Yep.
And then you have a package of
one-offs.
So we got a Sunblast Angel, an Exclusion Ritual, another Dismember, Elesh Norn.
Best card ever. Won me 2 games so far. It's so good.
So what are you bringing Elesh Norn against?
Like White Weenie and Blue White, like Blue Black. I mean, like you just end of turn Zenith, play Elesh Norn, and turn after attack for 20,000.
Hex Parasite.
Another answer to Cut. Like the mono-red matchup is very good, but we lose to Cut of the Hammer, so I put in 1.
Sure. Karn Liberated, you bring in an extra 1.
Yep.
Elspeth, you go up to 3. Same thing with the White Sun Zenith. And then you have a Plains.
There's never enough planes.
This is a control deck, right? So you're very mana hungry. I assume if you're playing in control mirror, you want. What were your expectations for the format when you came to this event? What did you think the field would be, and why is your deck adjusted the way it is?
I expected White Weenie, also expected Mono-Red, and then decks that try to beat those 2 decks. And this deck is okay against White Weenie, especially because people don't know it, and they might play around the Sunblast Angel, but then they get screwed by the Phyrexian Rebirth or by the Exclusion Ritual. And it has a good early game. Against the control decks, you can try to attack them with Blade Splicer and Hero of Bladehold. Against the creature decks, you just hold back and try to finish the game with one big spell. And like, we tested a lot of matches, and it was hard to beat White Weenie. Like, every deck we threw at it, it was very, like, most of them were underdog, like 40%. And this deck was actually like 50-50, but it was unexpected. It was good against the mono-red decks, and it's actually fine against other control decks. Like, people think, yeah, they have counters and the Sphinx, but you have a lot of answers to Sphinx. You have a lot of big cards that they have to counter, so they can play counters main deck. Well, most of them don't, because then it's just a dead card against White Weenie. So that's Vincent Lamont came up with a deck. I have to give a lot of honor to
Vincent Lamont, who we saw top 8 in Paris at the last Pro Tour. He's not faring as well with the deck today as you have. You're 4-1 right now. Yep. Tell me a little bit. You're talking about it being a close matchup against White Weenie. Why would you not have then the cards like the Revoke Existence or the Marrow Shards? Like, why wouldn't you dial the deck more in the direction of being able to beat that deck?
Like, White Weenie is not the deck. Like, not everyone likes to play White Weenie. So we knew there was gonna be White Weenie, but we thought there would be like 20%. And if you move these cards into the main deck, you get like 80% bad cards in other matchups.
And your numbers are pretty close to correct. That's more or less where it comes in the field.
Yesterday, I think 3 of us were still playing White Weenie, but no one likes it, and like 2 of them changed. So it's just a deck that people don't like. They think it's stupid. They want to play. They want to play real cards. They don't want to play single pest.
Sure. So, if you were looking at where this deck might go for standard, once Zendikar starts to rotate out, do you think that you could see a big white control deck doing well in a standard format? Is this something that might translate well, or is it really something that only gets to play around in the block sandbox?
I think it's mainly for block construction. Like, the deck is strong, but it's strong because it can destroy artifacts. It's strong because it can cast high casting cost spell, but in a standard they'll play Mana Leak, they'll counter your Karn for 2 mana, and it's gonna be pretty hard to figure that out.
So very powerful, but in a format where people can, Spell Pierce or Mana Leak or stuff like that, it's gonna keep it at bay.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna, you think you're gonna be able to find a little time off to get to some more Pro Tours?
I hope so, yes.
Okay, because you're good for 1 Pro Tour top 8 a year. So
This one.
This one, you're gonna do it? You're 4-1 to start. Have you been drafting?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you feel good about your draft skills, sitting down at a 4-1 table?
I felt better, but it's still fine.
Okay. Well, from Marijn Lybaert, this is Brian David Marshall signing off from the Tournament Center at Pro Tour Nagoya.